Well, what is up, boys and girls? It's me, Crashy, here with another video guide on Infinite Crisis. Now, this is going to be completely voice-over game. It's not going to be live, so you're not going to be hearing any reactions or anything like that. But I did want to do a little bit of a comprehensive guide or a chat about jungling. So right here, and a little bit about the game as well. Right here, you can see I was kind of leaving the Stolen Powers section open because I want to talk about Stolen Powers in jungle because it's kind of confusing to some people at first, and then I think once you get the hang of it, it's no big deal. So first of all, consume. It is the smite of this game. It gives you health back if you have the upgraded level 4 Nightmare Batmans, and it's just a solid item. I mean, or a solid spell. You're going to want to take it. Now, some people will dispute me that you don't need it, but I mean, even if you don't need it, in higher level play, if someone's trying to take your elites and you happen to get over there, you can see the health on it, you can consume it, get your XP and your gold off of it, and that's a 5-minute camp. I mean, it's just a good spell to have. You get health back, you can sustain yourself in the jungle. Now, currently, your second spell is the best thing in the game is X-Ray Vision. This is going to be getting nerfed because every 60 seconds you can see everyone on the map. So I'm assuming things like cameras, some version of super speed, super strength, something traps, maybe even the slow are going to be good in the jungle in upcoming meta. So we'll have to wait and see whenever the X-ray nerf gets kind of implemented what people are starting to take, what seems to be more viable. I honestly think I'll probably start running cameras so I can start counter-cameraing lanes for ganks. And getting into it, so again, we're talking about the jungle today, guys. I do want to try to do a comprehensive comprehensive tutorial on the entire Coast City map. It's just so much to cover, especially while playing live. If I'm not playing live, I have to think about, moving my camera to certain places so I can talk about things while I'm doing the voiceover. And starting off, you want to have a good sustainable build depending on what champion you're playing. And this particular game, I was playing Power Nightmare Batman. Now that's a little, iffy, and people don't, necessarily think it's the best idea. But at some point on almost every jungler, I buy a Marauder's item. Now, if you don't know what the Marauder's item is, it's the first item on the second row of each type of damage. So attack, or each type of, stat. I don't know what to call that. I don't know, whatever. So there's attack, health, and power. Now the Marauders bonus gives you, the first Marauders gives you 10% bonus to creeps, and that increases as well as giving you additional stats as you build that up. So for this game, for example, I took Marauders Ring number 1, and then I took some extra damage on the Radion Shard. Now, you don't want to do that with Nightmare Batman. Usually, I would say you would take a nil weapon. If you're playing AD Nightmare Batman, which is more, more meta-filled. If you're playing AD Nightmare Batman, you're going to want to take a nil weapon and a Marauder's Knife 1. It's really good. You'll be able to sustain yourself with the nil weapon and the passive lifesteal, depending on what champion you want to tank. If you're taking tanks, you might want to do Marauder Shield and maybe like a Hawkman Harness with pots, or something of that nature. Now, for me personally, my rotation always usually starts at the quads. This is what I call quads. You want to go over here. I'm playing, I believe, solo jungle or double jungle, I don't remember. But I almost always invade if I have the ability to do so. I don't know if they have a jungler. I don't remember how this game was going, but I know it's safe for me to go ahead and invade. So there's 3 camps on bottom side and top side of the jungle, making one's team jungle a total of 7 camps, including the middle elite camp. Now, when double jungling, you want to start at your quads, the camp I'm at right now. You want your second jungler to start at their quads on the top side, or vice versa. And then you want to meet at level 1 at the elites. You have the first clear down, the second clear will be at level 1 together, and that will automatically get you to level 2. And that's just the best way to do it in current meta with double junglers. So I went in for an early gank. Power Nightmare Batman does a lot of early damage, and it's a snowball kind of build, so I went for that early gank, and I wanted to help out as much as I could, and so we went ahead and got that. But my normal rotation is dependent on, and this is the thing, it's not like a regular jungle type game. It's dependent on if I'm invading the jungle, if I'm trying to grief camps, and I'll cover these again. Or these terms, if you don't know them, if you're not real specific or real familiar with jungle terms. If I'm invading a camp or a jungle, if I'm griefing/invading a camp, or it's dependent on what my last previous rotation was, and I'm sure I'll find an example of that. For example, here I'm invading their jungle. I'm in the enemy jungle. I didn't grief the camp. Griefing a camp is when you take parts of the camp, and you always take the big minion. You never want to leave the big minion. That's where the golden XP comes from. But you leave the little minions. Now, the reason I don't grief on Power Nightmare Batman is because I pretty much clear everything with the AoE anyways. But I'm taking their camps, and now I'm rotating to my side. Now, a normal rotation for me, if, say, I'm just starting out or something, usually is quads to dubs to trips. That's kind of what I call them. They don't really have formal names at the moment. This is 4 camps, 4 creatures in this camp, so we call them quads. Then you'll probably see me rotate over to dubs, and I believe the doubles, okay, I'm going to back here. So I believe the doubles are actually the hardest one in the small rotation, maybe even the trips. I'm not sure. I haven't really checked to see how much damage they do. But now that 1 camp out of my 3 main camps are down, and I'm hitting level 3. Solo jungle level 3 is whenever you can go for your elites. So I popped my X-ray there, and I want to move over to my elites because I know I can take them. You have to have your consume up, and you can see me looking at those other camps. Now, depending on your rotation of your last set of camps is how you kind of pick your new rotation. So if you started at, say, quads, and you moved to doubles, and then you backed, you're not going to want to go back to doubles because they're not going to be there. So where would you go? You would go to trips, go to quads, and then go to doubles. And like I said, I'm sure I'll find an example of that. So, for example, let's say this is the new start of a rotation. We're going to start here at quads. We're going to go on ahead and pick this up, and then we're going to keep moving on. We may invade, or we might go on ahead and defend the tower. We may wait for a kill. We'll see what we got to do. And these are all things that you have to think about while watching the map and seeing what kind of help your team needs and seeing what kind of help you can provide. So I step in, I want to do a little bit of damage here, and I actually did a pretty solid amount of damage on to the Joker there, and I had to back up because I took a hit. And we'll probably see myself either, you know, going for another camp or going for an invade or something like that. I'm pretty low, or I'm like half health, so we're going to go for their quads. This seems like something I would actually do, so that way I can get the health back. Now, in the jungle, if you see the camps that have the green floating things around them, which I think are almost all the big minions, that just means you get health back off of the kill. So quads are a really, really way to kind of sustain yourself in the jungle if you need some health back. And you can see me looking around while I'm killing a camp. That's how much you have to be thinking when you're jungling. You want to be looking around, seeing what the health of your enemies are at. This is something I do frequently. I wait for the lane minions to cross over the lane, and I go around the backside, so I can either gank from the top side, or I can just go take their camp. The pathing kind of screwed me over, and they ended up seeing me, but I was able to pick up a clean kill there. Really easy. And now I'm looking to go around them, because I think I can get some damage down on this Joker. So you want to come in from different sides of the lane, do the best that you can to gank, and I wasn't able to reach him by the time my damage went off there. So I put a little damage in, and I keep on going. And this game has really been sporadic for me, and some of these games will be for you guys, and I really haven't had a solid rotation, but as long as I'm keeping myself up in gold, experience, and level, then I'm going to be doing just fine. So you take your spells, and now it's almost like I'm back into a normal rotation. So you can see, like, I'm looking on the map. See, perfect. Now, here's the tricky thing about jungling in this game. You have to watch your lanes, watch your teammates' health, watch your enemy's health, focus on rotations, focus on skills, focus on mechanics, and then get relays. So now you want to be on top of relays. You never want to give up relays. And if you're coordinated enough with double jungles, you can actually invade and go against them for their relays. So now, again, starting back into a normal set rotation, and learning the camp timers is a really good thing to learn. Currently, the only camp I actually pay attention to the timers on is the elite camps because it's a solid 5 minutes. It's a lot of experience and gold. You really don't want to just give that up. So that's really the only one I notice. The other camps respawn really, really fast. So I'm either looking to contest here with her or get their elite camp. Currently, you got to understand, guys, that elite camps are really important. Towers are really important, but relays are more important. Doomsday, not even as important as relays. Relays can win you the game with those super minions. As a jungler, it is your duty to get your team to understand that, help them, and get them for yourself. So now, I see their elite camp is up. I'm going to go ahead and take it. I never went ahead and invaded for it earlier, and at this point in my current build, I'm trying my best to get over to level 6 so I can try to help out bot a little bit more, because top lane takes up a lot of your attention. I have a lot of gold here, so I'm going to finally go on ahead and back. And generally, when speaking in terms of Infinite Crisis jungle, oh, I didn't back. I'm actually going ahead and go for a bot gank. Generally speaking, in terms of Infinite Crisis jungle, you want to send your ganker, like the person that in your jungle that you would more so want to get fed, to bottom jungle. And when you're rotating in jungle, you want to stay on your bottom side. In this game, I'm kind of all over the map because I'm solo jungling. But if I was the bottom jungler, I would be invading bottom jungle, I would be ganking bottom lane, and I would be farming bottom camps. So I told him to try to wait for my cooldown, and now I get him, and we picked up a kill and got an assist, and now I'm going to go ahead and back and spend that gold. So again, guys, if you're solo jungling, you kind of have to be all over the place. If you're single jungling, or duo jungling, rather, you want to focus on your camps. You want to focus on punishing their side of the jungle, griefing their camps, poking their jungler, taking the bottom side objectives, which is more so like griefing, invading, and camping bottom lane for kills. If you're top jungler, you really want to focus on assisting by holding the turret in your lane, top lane, if they need to back, because that's a hard lane to gank. You want to focus on camping or getting your 3 jungle camps, and you want to focus on relays. When you're coordinated enough as double jungle, you're going to want to go on ahead and work together to get those relays if needed, or if you want to invade for those relays. And so out of this spawn, I decided that my rotation was going to be doubles to quads, and now I'm looking to go top side because I'm the only jungler. Otherwise, I would have stayed bottom side and gone for those trips. And so now, just going top side, got an assist off of my X-ray, which is, again, probably going to get nerfed, and just continue farming. So, I mean, as far as fundamentals go, it's all judgment calls. Everything you got to do is a judgment. You have to weigh the pros and cons of every single situation. All of this time I'm spending here going for this Joker, I could be spending hitting one of the 7 camps or one of the 14 camps on the map. You could essentially never leave jungle if your lanes were doing well enough and just get yourself fed. And another really great jungle tool that I feel is really neglected is the fact that you can destroy one player or multiple players on the enemy's team's game by focusing them as a jungler. Like, it's such a strong tool. So you see, I moved, I got some camps, I'm trying to make my time as efficient as possible. I'm watching bottom lane while getting relay. So I'm trying to make my time as efficient as possible. Our Zatanna's going for theirs, and that's a great idea. If I would have been closer, I would have probably gone with her. But in the current situation, I went on ahead and just stayed on our side, and I think I'm going to go on ahead and get my elites here. They were getting pinched on anyway, so I probably could have gone and helped them. But honestly, at this early in the game, it's kind of a hard thing to prioritize going for their camp. So I kind of back off of my camp and go look to see if there's anything I can do, really. But I think she runs away. So again, I try to stay on top of my elite camp. I try to help out as much as possible, and this looks like a pretty good fight for us. I don't remember what happens here, but you get that down, and I just chase him down. No need to use ult. So we were able to get those kills, did pretty good, and I get kind of pathing OP'd here, and I can't get to her. So we'll see what happens. Probably jump in on him. No, maybe. Zatanna, run! I think I just am trying to get her out at that point, so we'll throw my slow. So again, guys, it's a lot more structured when you're jungling in a like a tighter setting. When people start getting more experience with this game, it's going to be a lot more structured. You're going to be getting your same 3 camps over and over and over again. You're going to be ganking with the same people. It's going to become second nature, and that's how it is for me more so. And I don't know, counter jungling is such a strong thing that you have to do in this game, especially if they have a jungler that you know is either going to have a hard time or someone that you know that you can beat. There are counters in this game, guys. Anybody that's jungling someone a slightly bit unconventional and you're a regular assassin or an enforcer that you know can abuse them, you have to take advantage of that. When I see Catwomen jungles with no consume, I have a field day with them. When I see anyone that's not a really solid jungler, when I see people flash jungling, I'm going to abuse them. If I see another Nightmare Batman, I am going to abuse them. The reason I know that's the reason I definitely abuse another Nightmare Batman is because he's got the same exact abilities as me. He dishes out more or less the same exact damage early on that I do if he has the same itemization. And I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I think I'm a stronger player. I'm going to put my effort in to make his jungle as hard as it can be. So when it comes down to it, I leave winning and getting an advantage up to my laners. Laning in this game seems very strong. It seems almost more so important than jungling because there's 2 of us. You have to know ganks are coming at some point. And that's the other fun part. you get a coordinated team, you get a coordinated double jungler, and amazing bottom ganks can happen. Like, you get into the groove. So here, I'm waiting for my team to make a play. At this point, I think I decided to start proxy farming the wave, which is just farming ahead of the turret, so that way it forces our team's minions to get to them, and that way we're going to be able to get a little bit of pressure. So, again, at the same time, I'm weighing the pros and cons to stay up at top lane. I think we will eventually get this turret and pick up 1 or 2 kills off of it, and in my head, that's worth it. It looks like we're going for an initiation here, and I finally go on ahead and decide to step in. I go for that ult, I completely destroy the Joker, and we're able to go on ahead and pick him up. So I think this gets a little squeamish, though. Actually, that got a little rough for our team. But if we would have been able to initiate that a little bit better, you can see how it kind of would have worked out a little better for us. Let's see how much damage I do to this guy before he just destroys me. Oh, I got kicked in the face. So, I think I'll probably pop my X right here. That would be a smart move so I can go on ahead and see him. Or give him major jukes. I'm playing Ring Around the Rosie with this guy. Always keeping myself out of vision. Keep him in vision. And just went ahead and hit him one more time. So, wow, that's a pretty lucky play for me. And I'm never, ever spending my gold. So, you're going to see me getting more and more powerful with this build here. And it's still a work in progress, guys. I know it's a little ridiculous to watch. But you slam some power damage on him. You get those ults and you do a lot of damage. So, let's see, other jungle things. You are eventually going to want to start to coordinate with your team around the 15-minute mark, which you can see on the status bar is coming up in 1 minute and 20 seconds, because the second relay, or the third relay, will open automatically, meaning that a team has a possibility of getting two relays to 1 or 3 relays to 0, which the 2 to 0 possibility was already up. But it hasn't been something that goes on too often, because going into an enemy's team jungle and taking their relay before all 3 relays is open is actually pretty damn challenging. Like, you have to be pretty damn coordinated to go and invade their relay all the way on their side of their jungle and take it without them being on top of it. At higher level play, that's not going to be a thing. Like, honestly, it's just not going to happen, because they're going to be so focused on their objectives and what wins them the game, as opposed to playing with newer players that aren't always kind of on top of it. So that's going to be a little bit harder. The other thing I try to focus on teaching people when they're learning the game is that bottom lane doesn't really have much other than the ability to create pressure. Like, you don't really need to be bottom lane that much. In bottom lane, you have the ability of swaying attention. Like, you can push your lane, and it looks like it needs attention because they have to physically go down there and push the lane. And I mean, that's that's smart and all, but it's not necessarily an attention grabber. And I completely just bursted that guy. Like, it's not something that you should spend a lot of your resources on, your time and your positioning on. As far as map control goes, you're going to want to be topside. And since there's 2 guys down here, it's actually not that bad of an idea that I'm down here. But, the fact that my team was topside and they were able to pick up that second relay, and now we finally have gotten the first set of super minions in our team is really important. So, as far as builds go in the jungle, it really depends on your jungler. It depends on the enemy team comp and what kind of a build you're going for. I have different builds for AD Nightmare Batman where I do kind of a crit composition. I do more where it's more of like a bruiser composition with my team, so that way I know my teammates are going to be a little bit tankier. I want to be a little bit tankier as well, so I'll do things more like Joker's Crowbar and a Crime Bible to give myself a little bit more late game. Or if I know my team is pretty damn strong with tanks and enforcers and we have some pretty good blasters on our team, I'll do more of a full crit, like type attack speed build. So it really depends on your playstyle, depends on your team composition and what you're going for, and it also depends on yourself as well. Like, your playstyle is very important when it comes to this game. There are so many Flash builds. If you're playing Flash, there are literally like 5 different ways to play him, and it's good every single way you do it as long as you can execute it properly. So now with the end of the game kind of coming up upon us, there's not much else to talk about as far as jungle goes. There's no real plan. There's no real outline for what you do in the late game. You just assist your teammates as much as possible. You have to be the one that really makes the plays, though. Like, I like to think of myself as a jungler as more of a captain role, because I'm the one that sees all. I know you tunnel vision in lane. I know how it is. Like, I lane, you know what I mean? when you're in lane, it's so easy to focus on your farming. It's so easy to focus on the two people that are right across from you or the one person that's right across from you and not really see the big picture. So I ping as much as I can. I try to let my teammates know when things are coming up. Learning how much each tick of that status bar at the top kind of helps. I know whenever it's about a minute and a half. I know whenever it's about a minute away. So certain objectives you got to keep time of or keep track of. And I think this is the part where I go and attempt to solo Doomsday with this build. This was still a trial game for me on this build, and I find out that I can't do it. Regular AD Nightmare Batman can solo it, and it's actually really good. As far as Doomsday goes, you want to fight with your team. You want to do the best you can. I think this was my only death this game, which is pretty hilarious because, you know, die to a neutral turret. But whenever it comes to Doomsday device, if you're not in a position, this is a big argument that I've had with other players in the game. If you're not already in a position with your team to go and get the Doomsday device, and you know they're there getting it as you speak, why spend the time to go to Doomsday device? You know they're going to get it because it's really easy to get at this current build of the game. Don't go there and then have to try to fight them and then blow you all up and then push for the win. What you should do, the best defense for Doomsday device are two separate things. Here's the best defense. The best defense is either being there on time and being able to team fight outside of the Doomsday device, getting your focus target, you know, being a good carrier or tank or a blaster, and being able to focus down those high priority targets, or it's split pushing. So if I'm, you know, halfway down bottom lane and I X-ray or someone's like hell, they're at Doomsday, I'm gonna keep pushing. And why do I do that? Because one, I'm out of the range of the Doomsday. They're not going to be able to kill me with it. And two, if they feel I'm enough of a threat, which any assassin in this particular scenario is, if they feel I'm enough of a threat, I'm going to be able to restrict their Doomsday usage. They have 1 minute to pop that Doomsday somewhere. And that Doomsday may have to be used to defend against me. Now, what I tell people is, all you have to do is push till you see the Doomsday. If they back with the Doomsday, if they back and come to me with the Doomsday, I'm going to run. Because now I've pushed them halfway back the map. They were at the middle point of the map with the Doomsday, and I forced them to go, you know, 2 steps back. Now I'm going to run from them and force them to waste their time. So now they're going to struggle to rush down a lane. They're going to struggle to get to a tower or to get to some enemies to make a play with the Doomsday device. Here's a pretty funny little triple that I posted. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. It was, I don't know, it was the highlight of my game for me. I enjoy Doomsday kills. I liked being able to see that kill feed and me getting a bunch of kills and hearing the announcer call out triple kill. But and all that dancing around with the Doomsday and deciding what you're going to do, split pushing or not split pushing, that all is still while having to focus on relays, because late game relays can win you the game. If you give up 3 relays in a late game, it's really hard to come back. They are going to have that push. They're not going to be able to get past the minions just to even go get the relays, and even if they do, we're going to know they're there because the whole time they're running up the lane, we can see them. Especially with X-ray, we always know where they are. So, guys, I hope this was a little bit, you know, of a helpful guide on how to jungle a little bit in Infinite Crisis currently on Coast City. Stay ahead. Don't let yourself fall behind. Weigh the pros and cons of what your decisions are doing. Don't dive unless you know you can do it. That's pretty much, you know, Infinite Crisis rule. Keep your itemization, you know, profitable. Make sure it's worth your time. Focus on relays. Focus on helping your team. Don't be neglectful. Don't be rude. Focus on Doomsday. Focus on objectives in general. And that's pretty much how you be a successful jungler. The game's going to be coming to an end in about 3 minutes. Not much else is going to happen. We're going to be pushing for the win. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Guys, please check out my live stream. I'm going to be live streaming a lot more, hopefully. I'm still, you know, doing school, doing YouTube, doing live streams, and all the things in between. So come check out my YouTube. Make sure you check out donbase.com if you're looking to get into building and some guides on Infinite Crisis. I have a couple builds up there myself, so if you want to go check those out, go on ahead. I'll probably put the link for Donbase in the description as well as my live stream below. So check it out, guys. I appreciate you stopping by. If you're not a member of the Green Lantern Corps here on my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe and join the Corps. If you don't know much about my channel, I'm going to be doing a lot more Infinite Crisis. It's the game of my choice. I like to cover DC, superhero, Marvel, Green Lantern news, anything like that. So welcome to my channel. I appreciate it, guys, especially if some of you guys from Infinite Crisis are coming over because you've heard about me or wanted to check out some of my videos. If you're any of the IC devs, I love your work. Keep it up. You know, constructive criticism is great. Hopefully you don't take anything too harshly because, you know, some people out there really love your game. And we're looking forward to the future of it, looking forward to getting those champions, looking forward to Green Arrow, and everything in between, you know, from the DC universe. And it's going to be exciting. I know we're going to have a fun time playing it. I'm sure you're having a fun time making it, and we really appreciate it. So, Turbine, take it easy. Guys, take it easy. Y'all have a good day, and I hope this helped learn a little bit more about the jungle. Like I said, I want to be doing a comprehensive guide on Coast City in general, but I might hold off because once the Tri-Lane map comes out, it's going to be a little bit of a different game. The meta will probably change, or the meta will definitely change, and it may take the spotlight on Infinite Crisis. So we'll have to wait and see. This game's forever changing. It's forever growing, hopefully for the better, and I hope you guys enjoy it every step of the way. So take it easy, guys. Peace out.